Welcome. Very good morning to all who are listening to us here on our radio, 105.7 FM in Dallas Fort Worth, Texas. My name, your host, is Annabella Aldrete. Today in our cultural program, I will talk to you about one of the most beautiful countries in the world, Mexico. Mexico is located in the south. Tropical climates predominate since we are surrounded by seas and beautiful beaches, the Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. Also important for beautiful tourist cruises and commercial transportation. Today we are going to talk about their culture, their food, and their religion. Let's get started. Mexico. Mexico has great variety of food. Each region has its own delicious foods. We divided the country into three: the north of Mexico, the central of Mexico, and the south of Mexico. In the north of Mexico, food based in rich meats seasoned with strong spicy spices such as carne de res, pork, beef, and lamb. In central Mexico, we have the greatest variety of dishes such as mole, tamales, and caldo de tortilla. There's different types of condiments and 10 or more kinds of chili peppers. For example, there's jalapeno chili peppers, chipotle chili peppers, and pasilla chili peppers. In this part of central Mexico, foods from Spain and France were combined with Mexican food, where by contrast, an exquisite combination of semi-sweet and semi-salty foods, with aromas of parsley, rosemary, cilantro, and chili. In addition to being the food served, it is very elegant and attractive. In the southern part of Mexico, seafood predominates with fish, shellfish, crabs, octopus, and salmon, being the protagonists of these delicious dishes. It is also worth highlighting the traditional dishes of three important regions: Oaxaca, Chiapas, and Yucatan. They say that it's the most beautiful places in Mexico. Mexican food is considered one of the richest and delicious foods in the world. Now, let's talk about the culture of Mexico. That dates from its foundation in a valley of water. The first city, called the New Tenochtitlan, was born. The indigenous race and its different languages predominate, such as the Maya language, the Mexican language, and the Totonaco language, that are still spoken in different regions. The construction of its beautiful pyramids throughout the country makes it magical and full of mysteries of the founding ancestors. All of these pyramids are seen by millions of tourists around the world. After the independence of Mexico, it became its own independent state, with beautiful attractions such as mountains, volcanoes, beaches, and valleys that make the country one of the most visited in the world. The culture of Mexico is also reflected in its people and the traditions, such as El Día de los Muertos, and their craftsmanship, both in clay and on canvases, and they make their own dresses full of color and their own shoes, like sandals and boots. Mexico exports all this to thousands of countries, such as the United States, Europe, and China. Mexico has a culture of rich in food, clothing, dialects and languages, and music. The mariachi is the main one, with its happy songs that fill every corner of the country. And it's heard in America too. Another important thing in its culture is the creation of tequila, which is one of the most sold and consumed drinks in the world. Religion in Mexico: 90% of the country's inhabitants profess the Catholic religion, and with all its traditions and devotion to the Virgin of Guadalupe. The rest remains as Christians. Mexico pays honor and respect to the Catholic faith. Did you know, fun fact, Cholula, which has 365 churches, you have to visit one every day of the year. Well, some of them do. You don't have to. Isn't that so interesting, though? Within their main traditions in their religion are three: Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, then there's Easter, as in Holy Week, and then there's Christmas. And with these three events of the year, God is commemorated and given honors and recognition. These three events in Mexico create great parties, celebrations, foods, and music. And that's all I have for you guys today in this episode. We find ourselves immersed in the vibrant tapestry of flavors, traditions, and beliefs that define this rich heritage. We talked about the main points that I think will really encourage you to visit Mexico. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but after talking to you guys about beautiful Mexico, it just made me really learn a lot more about Mexico. And I just want to continue to visit and get to know Mexico over and over again. Mexico is a really beautiful and big place where there's many places you can explore. In my opinion, we can travel to many places in the world, but there are very few countries that offer everything in a package like Mexico. Mexico offers a great time, an eye-opening experience when trying its food and seeing all the traditions that the country has. Makes me really want to return again, and several times to visit Mexico. You can bring several gifts and special objects for your family and friends when you return. Sometimes people stay in Mexico for long periods of time. Sometimes they don't even want to return to their countries and they want to live in Mexico forever. There are packages that include beautiful beaches and include a hotel, everything. I invite you to go to Mexico and experience all of the beautiful culture. And finally, Viva Mexico!